I'm just rambling on now. Hey, Harmony. Too long. That answer is way too long. I would now like to say goodbye. Thank you for watching as well. And goodbye. That's all, folks. Bidee. That's all, folks.
That's the one! That's what it is.
I am back. It's Conversations with Kirk. Today I'll be conversing with myself. Let's get right to it.
You have a birthday coming up soon.
Yes.
April 11th.
April 11th, my
And
birthday.
do you have any plans?
Plans. Do not have any plans currently, but I've got time to work that out. Probably have a family dinner. Mom's birthday is 2 days before mine, so we'll be always getting together as a family.
And the big question, will you be eating cake?
Will I be eating cake? That is a good question. At this moment, indeterminate.
All right. And any hopes for a gift, a birthday gift?
A gift. One thing I would like is a new running jacket. My old one's getting a little bit wore out. The zipper's not working as well as it used to. So that's it. I'm easy to buy for.
Mm-hmm. I mean, really, what else could you ask for? You already have the greatest gift ever. Your crew here, your podcast crew behind the scenes. I agree with that 100%. Okay, this is a busy season. We have Easter coming up. Any plans for Easter?
Plans for Easter. I hear we're having a turkey dinner, so I'll be there for that. I was going to do power washing, but all the power washers are rented out. I waited too long to book in the driveway scrubber, so maybe I'll do that next weekend. I don't know. Do some yard work, clean out the garage. Yeah, spring cleaning. Okay. In between, probably some real estate.
So earlier this week, you were an invited guest to VIU, Vancouver Island University.
I got a free mug as a gift.
Represent. And what were you doing there?
Yeah, I got invited to Vancouver Island University into the marketing and sales class to be on a panel where the students, it was kind of their year-end wrap-up. They had done sales competition, and then the professor had brought in myself and another sales professional to sit on a panel and allow the students to ask questions, and some of those students thinking about getting into that type of career. So it was a 1 hour question answer session. It was really good. It was great to be around students, young kids with lots of energy and enthusiasm.
So it sounds like you had to give some advice. What advice did you give to the students who are thinking of going into real estate?
Well, I told them, take what you think of how hard it's going to be and then multiply it by 10. That's how hard it actually is. So might have scared them off from getting into real estate, but we'll see.
And so it was a marketing class. Did you talk about the marketing aspects involved in real estate?
We talked a little bit about marketing, yeah. And they were asking questions about how important it would be to have a social media presence. And I think that it is an important part of operating at a high level in real estate sales. I don't know that it's absolutely necessary right out of the gate, depending on how many sales you want to do.
And they said they're inviting you back for next year, so you must have.
Yeah, they said they'd invite me back, and the other guy too. So I guess, yeah, that's a good sign.
Current events. So, what impact is the war having on Parksville, Qualicum Beach real estate?
Yeah, so the current world economic climate, we'll call it that, or what's just happening in the world, it definitely affects people. And right now we are in more of a buyer's market where it's slowed down a bit. So buyers are going to take any leverage that they can have to work in their favor. And so even though directly, locally here, we obviously aren't impacted directly, but buyers hear what's going on. There's a lot of negativity in the news. Gas prices are up. Talk about inflation now. Talk about interest rates potentially going up in the future. So buyers are using that as leverage to try to pay less. And so it's shifted now. There's more power to the buyer side, whereas a few years ago it was the exact opposite. The sellers had all the power. So with that, and there's just, we'll call it uncertainty out there. Uncertainty creates opportunity, and that's what it is right now. So buyers that are willing to take action, yeah, they're coming in. Some of them are trying to offer less, pay less, and in some cases sellers are taking it. But in our local market, Parksville, Qualicum, we're quite stable. So there's not significant swings in prices.
We're seeing recently, offers coming in low to start. How is that working?
Yeah, well, I mean, my perspective on it, I'd rather have an offer low and have to turn it down than have no offers at all. So at least people are out there getting, starting the conversation. And it really depends. It comes down to value, because if a property's overpriced in relation to what else is out there, then those sellers may have to come down. But at the same time, we see well-priced properties that are selling for right close to asking, some that are still selling for above asking. And so it really depends on the property. But like I said, those properties that might have some challenging factors with them, those sellers might have to be a little bit more negotiable. And buyers know that, so they're using that as leverage. And the low offer, I always say it doesn't matter where we start, it's where we end. And so if these buyers are legit and they actually want to buy the property, then we'll go through the process, do the counter offer, see where we end up.
We're going to switch gears a little bit.
All right.
Do a rapid fire. Okay.
Let's have it.
Would you prefer coffee, matcha, or water?
Well, as far as what I drink in volume, it's water all day long. I do like coffee in the morning.
Okay. Do you prefer being a listing or a buyer representative?
Yeah, about 75-80% of the business that I do is representing sellers. So I prefer the listing side of the business. I also, it's not that I don't like working with buyers. When selling at high volume, it's much easier to sell a high volume of real estate representing sellers rather than buyers. And for that reason, that's why I'm higher on the listing side. I still enjoy working with buyers though. It's just a smaller percentage of my business.
Ocean view or acreage?
I'd take acreage unless it was condo. Condo, I want to have a view if I was going to live in a condo, but otherwise, yeah, acreage, have some space, a little bit of elbow room, not seeing my neighbors. Yeah.
Steak or salmon?
Steak.
Early mornings or early mornings?
Yeah, early. I like to start early. I'm kind of in the routine of getting up at 5 a.m. It's just, I find it's so much easier to get a jump on the day. I was talking about this front loading the day, and so I get as many things done before noon as I can, and just getting up early before the rest of the world is going seems to be a great way to do that.
One habit that has changed your life?
The biggest thing that's had an impact on my life in the last couple of years, and I wouldn't say that's really a habit, but more of a perspective, and that is I stopped waiting or hoping that things would get easier, and taking on hard challenges and knowing that in order to have greatness or a high level of success, that it's going to be hard. So now I expect things to be hard, and if they're not, that's a bonus. Before, I was frustrated because I expected that by this point in my life, things should start to get easier. And so having that realization that that is not reality has been a huge shift in my performance, my perspective, my general happiness.
All right. And what's your biggest guilty pleasure?
A guilty pleasure. I mean, I definitely like chocolate. Like, there's no question about it. However, in the last 2 years, I have not ate very much chocolate. I've cut out sugar for a large portion, but it's like I can't just eat one square of a chocolate. I need to eat the whole thing. So
there'll be some chocolate on your birthday?
I don't know. It's the month of April, I'm still trying to get my body fat percentage down, and I find that for me, it's easier for me. I'm like, and I don't know why, but I'm like an all or nothing. So it's easier for me to just not eat any sugar than it is for me to eat a small amount of sugar or to have some treats. And I'm aware of this, and so I'm afraid that if I have a snack, a sugary snack or something like that on one day, that'll just throw off my whole plan, which is what has been so challenging for me to achieve this low body fat percentage. But I've been for the last month, it's been going down, so I've been kind of doing the slow and steady rather than extreme like fasting or something like that. So trying to maintain muscle while still lowering body fat. So I don't know. We'll see. I do enjoy chocolate, but I also know that is counterproductive to the goals that I have.
All right. And let's go into Walper Wisdom today.
All right. So my Walper Wisdom for this week has to do with using force behind goals in order to achieve them. And it's not enough, this is what I've learned, it's not enough just to have goals and review those goals and have targets, but there has to be some force or some urgency behind those goals. And for me, it's pushing through those barriers and that comfort zone to where it feels like I'm doing enough, to almost doubling that, to feel like not only having goals, but having a sense of urgency behind those goals to get it done. I feel like we have less time than we think we have to actually get what we need done. So force and urgency along with goals equals achieving those goals. I would now like to say goodbye. Thank you for watching as well. And goodbye.
And tune in next week.
Tune in next week for more great Walper Wisdoms. That's all, folks. Bdee, bdee, bdee. That's all, folks.
That's the one! That's what it should be. Bdee, bdee, bdee.